Want to welcome everybody to this year's 2023 Open Bull Show, ringside as well as those watching online at showbarnflix.com. Up first, we will have in our Bull Show our Open Shorthorn category. We have our first class, which is Class 722. We have Senior Bull Calves from September through October of 2022. We have a single entry. We have entry 1182 from 5J Farms with a date of birth of September 25th of 2022. Because Class 722 was a single entry, 1182 from 5J Farms will be our first place within that class. We will bring in also Class 728 of Junior Yearling Bulls calving from January through February of 2022. We have a single entry in that class as well, entry 302 from Richard Leone, and that will be your first place within that class. So at this time, we will have your champion and reserve champion, Open Shorthorn Bull, selected. Our judge for today's contest is none other than Mr. Jeff Jackson. He is from Walnut Springs, Texas. He is a graduate of Tarleton State University with a bachelor's and master's degree in ruminant nutrition. Jeff, along with his wife Lauren and daughters Jalen and Adeline, they run a 600-head cow-calf operation. They're primarily focusing on the production of show cattle and seed stock bulls. Jeff has judged in almost every single state in the United States, as well as many junior nationals and state and national fairs all across the United States. They include National Western, North American, World Beef Expo, Fort Worth Stock Show, Houston Livestock, and a multitude of others. Jeff has also judged multiple times internationally, including South America, Asia, Canada, and Mexico. Here's our judge, Mr. Jeff Jackson.
Well, what a great way to start off with this morning. A really nice pair of Class 1 and Shorthorn bulls. Each were single entries, so we just went ahead and brought them both in here for your champion drive. Got a really nice fall bull calf here that I think is exceptional in terms of his look and balance. The redneck roan bull's got a great look and extension up through his front end, really long body. He's sound structured and good testicle there as you study him. A bull that you really like from a balance and just look. Just the way he puts everything together is very, very good. To change this guy, I'd like to maybe soften him up right in the center part of his body just a shade. Give him just a shot more rib cage in him. But once again, look and balance and quality are just absolutely spot on. A really good bull there to start off your lineup with. The red bull that came out of your second class, one that you like a lot of things about from the standstill. Once again, a very nicely balanced bull as well. Really neat and attractive through his head set, and I love the way he sets his neck so high up onto the apex of his shoulder. Got a big round rib cage in him, and that's where I really like this bull. When you get in behind him and study that extra shape right in the center part of his body, really dense right in the middle part and the middle section of the way this bull's assembled. Sound at the ground. He's good testicled as well. Got a little shot of extra shape when you get right in behind him. Really nice pair of Shorthorn bulls. I'll go select your Grand and Reserve if you would, please. Let's give these exhibitors a nice hand, and I'll grab you guys your champions.
Your champion Shorthorn Bull comes from Class 728 of Junior Yearling Bulls. That is Richard Leone. Your reserve champion comes from Class 722 from 5J Farms. Up next with the Bull Show program, we will have our class of Open Shorthorn Pluses. We have a single entry within that class and division. The class will be 759 of Spring Yearling Bulls calving from March through April. We have a single entry 1183 from 5J Farms. Date of birth on this bull will be March 30th of 2022.
Well, a single entry here in your Shorthorn Plus Bull show, and a really nice single individual. And you know, you hear it a lot of times, boy, this one deserves more competition, but there's no doubt about it. This one sure does. This one could sure knock down a lot of competition that comes through here. You talk about a big-bodied, rugged, stout individual, a March bull that's loaded with shape and loaded with power. I love this one's moderation of frame. So stout and so powerful-ended. I mean, that thing is big-backed and square-built and ultra-stout and ultra-wide. Awesome rib cage in him. Got a nice look from the side. Really good single entry. Congratulations to you.
Your results from Class 759. In first place is 5J Farms. That is the only bull within the Shorthorn Plus category, so that becomes your champion Shorthorn Plus. Up next within the bull show, we will have our Open Gelbvieh division. We have 3 entries within the Gelbvieh show. So I'm going to assume we will bring all 3 of them in because they will be firsts in their respective classes, and our judge, Jeff Jackson, will select your champion and reserve champion within their divisions. So coming into the ring at this time is your first place from Class 118 of Senior Bull Calves, calved September through December. We have the single entry 1188 of Pro Heart Kraken from Greg Hartman. From Class 121, entry 1189 in first place is also from Greg Hartman with a date of birth of May 5th of 2022. And finally, from Class 123 in first place, we have entry 1186 from Pro Heart Kryptonite, and that is also from Greg Hartman. Date of birth is January 20th of 2022. It's safe to say that Greg Hartman will win this class and division.
Well, a real nice trio of Gelbvieh bulls out here for you, and sure appreciate this outfit for bringing them to town. A really good set. The calf we lead off your lineup with, an individual that's really nice balance, a sound structured kind of an individual. Got a really nice look here from the side, a nice rib cage. You shut him from this vantage point right here. Calf that you really like his length and strength he has down his top and from behind. You know, if you want to get picky on this, guys, we compare him to these 2 older, more mature bulls that follow him. Maybe one you could give him just a shot more power, just a little more oomph of muscle when you get right in behind him. But once again, functional, sound, got a nice look from the side. Really good way to lead off with in this particular breed drive. Bull here in the middle, one you like a lot of things about. Stout and rugged individual. You love this one's rib cage. He's got a neat foot and leg set to him. Really neat hip. A bull that's powerful when you get in behind him, especially as you compare him to the 2 on either side of him. Very masculine, very rugged in terms of his look and this guy's general build. To get picky on him, maybe like to tighten him up there about his sheath ever so slightly, just a little more pendulous maybe than I care to see. But once again, boy, you got that rib cage and that ruggedness in him. A bull you sure like a lot of things about. The older bull that comes out of your last class, another single entry. Boy, you like this one's length of spine, really a growth-oriented kind of a bull, rugged and masculine in his design as well. If you want to get picky on this guy, especially compared to the bull directly ahead of him, maybe one you could give him just a shot more bone and foot right at the surface. But once again, nice individual there in his own right. Good set of bulls, good trio. My compliments to you breeders. I'll go select your grand and reserve of this breed if you would, please. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Your champion Gelby comes from Class 121, that is entry 1189 of Pro Heart King's Ransom from Greg Hartman. Your reserve champion comes from Class 118 of Senior Bull Calves, that is Pro Heart Kraken from Greg Hartman. Up next within your bull show is our last class and also our last division. It is our open Hereford category. We have Class 229 of Junior Yearling Bulls, calved January 1st through February 29th. We have a single entry within our Hereford Bull division. We have entry 306 of JPV Longmont from Violet Reed. Date of birth is January 13th of 2022. This is your only entry within your Hereford show, so this will be your first place in Class 229 and your champion Hereford division.
Well, a really nice single entry here in your Hereford show, and well, made the comments earlier, one that sure deserves more competition, without a doubt this one does. A bull that's really sound structured, really soft middled, got a really neat and attractive look up front, and yet you get in behind him, he's wide and square coming at you and leaving you. Bull that's got a nice hip shape to him when you get right in behind him, and then we couple all those neat things together and put him together in a really attractive and balanced package from the side. Nice testicle, nice footwork, really, really good bull that sure deserves more competition. Congratulations to you on your single entry.
Once again, your champion Hereford is entry 306 of JPV Longmont from Violet Reed. At this time, we will bring back all of our division winners to select your champion and reserve champion Supreme. Just your Supreme. We will be selecting the Supreme from all of our champions. Coming into the ring for consideration for your Supreme Bull will be the champion Shorthorn, entry 302, that is Peakview Marvel from Richard Leone, with a date of birth of February 27th of 2022. Also in the ring, we have our champion from our Shorthorn Plus category. We have entry 1183, 5J Captain Call from 5J Farms. We have our champion Gelby, that is entry 1189, Pro Heart King's Ransom from Greg Hartman. And we also have our champion Hereford of 306, JPV Longmont from Violet Reed. These are your champions within your open bull show. Our judge will select our Supreme Bull here shortly.
Well, what a good lineup of bulls here, and I won't go through and talk each one individually, just my compliments as a whole. What a good set of them. You know, they told me this morning we didn't have a lot of bulls to show first thing here right away, but I'm here to tell you the quality of these cattle are really good. Those two Shorthorn and Shorthorn Plus bulls, I think respective in those breeds, are just very, very good cattle. Very functional, very good, very dense actually for those two in terms of their rib cage and muscle. I think very good bulls, very profitable there in their own kind. And the herds, that they're going to be turned back to and what they'll do in the future. Gelby Bull's very rugged and an individual that's very good and extremely kind of a good individual as well. And then the Hereford that came out of your last division, once again, you heard my compliments on him. Such a good individual just in terms of combining everything together. Just a really, really good critter there that came out of your Hereford division. Outstanding set of bulls, and I guess my compliments to you breeders and exhibitors. There wasn't many here that you had to fight against to show to win, but man, this top end and these breed champions are very, very good. My compliments to you. My hat's off to you guys. I'll hang up the mic and go select your champion. If you would, in your ringside, let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause, and I'll go select your champion.
Your Supreme Champion bull comes from your Hereford division. That is entry 306 of JPV Longmont from Violet Reed. At this time, we will be pausing for pictures, is what we have been told now. We will run over to the backdrop with our champions to get pictures with our judge, because our heifer female shows, they will start at 10. So we will be pausing for approximately 38 minutes, and we will get started with our female show here in 38 minutes. Well, once again, we want to welcome everybody back to our open show today for our females. We want to welcome everybody ringside as well as those individuals who are watching online at showbarnflix.com. In our female show, we will begin with our Shorthorn division. With our first class of Shorthorns, this is Class 700. We have our junior heifer calves, calved on or after January 1st of 2023. Within this entries, we have entry 1023 from Reese Locke with a date of birth of January 6th of 2023. We also have entry 300 from Richard Leone with a date of birth of January 15th of 2023. These two entries complete your Class 700 of junior heifer calves.
Well, as we work your way back here into your heifer show, a really nice way to lead off with here, a very, very good pair of Shorthorn heifer calves. I go ahead and use the painted up or white-legged female to go ahead and win. Heifer, you like this one's extra look and extension up front, big and bold centered, got some extra power and shape from behind. She's my source of growth and performance in this pair as well. Female that you just like a lot of things about. To get picky on her, I'd like to pick her up and level her up out of her pin set ever so slightly. But once again, still nice female there in her own right. Solid red female that comes next. Boy, you like this one's density of bone as you study her at the surface. Really soft, really productive in terms of her look. Very, very feminine. And that's where I like this heifer a lot. So angular, so feminine as you study her through her skull, neck, flatness to her shoulder and her center body. Maybe like to see that one with just a shot more growth comparative to your class winner. Maybe just a bit more width when you get right in behind the cattle. Still very, very good pair of females. Congratulations, Teach.
Your results from Class 700 of junior heifer calves in second place. And your reserve champion for that respective division is entry 300, Richard Leone. And your class winner and champion for that division is Reese Locke with entry 1023. Up next in the program is Class 709 of spring yearling heifers born March through April. We have two entries. Entry 1340 from Paige Parker with a date of birth of March 14th of 2022 with Peakview Elsa. And the last entry is entry 301 from Richard Leone with a date of birth of April 12th of 2022 with Peakview Max. This is your completed Class 709.
We'll leave these two just the way they stand as well, the way they come in. Two heifers that are very, very good. A little different in type and kind in these two, and if you wanted to swap them, I sure wouldn't argue with you. I go ahead and use the extra flatness and look and femininity of the heifer that leads off with. A little flatter through her shoulder, a little bolder in her center rib, and where I probably like this one a shade better is just that extra sweep she has to her underpinning. Heifer that you like, the length and levelness out of her hip, sound enough and attractive enough here as you set her into motion. Good female to lead off with in this particular class. Heifer that offers a little more power and a little more density of foot and bones. Though actually the one here in second, you get in behind her, she's a little more shapely and a little wider. You study her down her top and from behind. Comparative, not quite as soft there in terms of her mid-rib as the heifer that goes ahead of her, and that's where I'd like to change this one from that respect. Still very, very good, very useful kind of females in this particular class. Congratulations to each.
The results from Class 709 of spring yearling heifers within your Shorthorn division. In second place is Richard Leone. And your class winner and your champion for the division, it'll be entry 1340 from Paige Parker. At this time, we'll bring back our champions in our Shorthorn division to select your Grand and Reserve champion Shorthorns. So in consideration for your Grand and Reserves, you will have your champion junior heifer calf from Maurice Locke and your champion spring yearling heifer of Paige Parker.
Well, a good set of shorthorn females, excuse me, out here before you. Really nice calf that we lead off with, one that's got a great look from the side, really fresh and youthful, got a world of future, a world ahead of her that you really like in terms of power and structure, a female that's still got some body in her, and yet we couple all that together in a really nice look. A female that's just got a world of future ahead of her. Time and maturity will only play to that one's favor. Heifer that came out of your second class or second division, there was a pair of females. They were both very, very good. Both cattle had a lot of look, a lot of structure, a lot of balance to them. Both stout bone, both had nice in terms of their body shape and their power. Just a really good pair of females that come out of that particular class. And then the solid red heifer that was reserve or second in class to your very, very first one up there at the beginning, a heifer that you like a lot of things about just in terms of balance and look and femininity. Once again, a world of future in that young female as well. Time and maturity only play to her favor as well. Got a pair of them in mind, and I'll go show them to you if you would, please. Let's give these shorthorn exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Your Grand Champion Open Shorthorn comes from Class 709. That is Paige Parker with entry 1340, Peakview Elsa. Rolling into your consideration for the reserve will be the second place and the reserve champion from that division. That is entry 301, Peakview Max from Richard Leone. Your reserve Grand Champion Shorthorn comes from that division as well. That is entry 301, Peakview Max from Richard Leone. Up next within the program will be the Shorthorn Plus category. Set to enter the ring at this time will be Class 740. These are senior heifer calves born September through December of 2022. We will have the single entry from Richard Leone with a date of birth of December 2nd of 2022. This is entry 303, Peakview, Charlotte. This is the only heifer and the only class within this division. So this will become your division champion.
Well, a really nice way to lead off with here in your Shorthorn Plus show, a single entry that once again sure deserves more competition. Well, this one's a high-end individual, long-necked and high-tying, got a tremendous look and quality and balance from the side, got a good rib cage in her as well, neat and attractive down through her chest floor, a nice enough set of feet and legs as we ask this one to go, and yet you get in behind her, still got some look and some power. Good female. Congratulations to you here on your single entry.
Your champion senior heifer calf in your Shorthorn Plus division comes from Richard Leone. Up next on the schedule will be Class 744 of spring yearling heifers calved March through April. That is a single entry class, so we will bring her in along with Class 745 of winter yearling heifers calved January through February. Both of these entries will be first in their respective classes, and we will bring them in together so we can select your division winner and reserve winner. We will have from Class 744 entry 1024 from Reese Locke with a date of birth of March 5th of 2022 with Kiss and Tell. And from Class 745 we have entry 411 from Job Knight with a date of birth of February 10th of 2022 with Firecracker Pop.
Another single entry back here in your Shorthorn Plus show. And once again, we've said it time and time again, one that sure deserves more competition, but this is a good female. Big, stout bone, lots of power, lots of bone. Female that's bold and robust in terms of a rib cage, got a good look from the side, a lot of shape, dimension when you get in behind her. Good female. Look forward to seeing her back here in your champion drive. Congratulations to you.
So Class 745 was a scratch, so we had the single class of 744 in the ring with Reese Locke. So she also becomes first in that class and your champion within that division. At this time, we will bring back both of our champions to select your Grand and Reserve Champion Open Shorthorn Plus females.
Well, a good pair of Shorthorn Plus females back out here before you, and different in their type and kind. The yellow heifer that comes out of your first class, real pretty, real feminine female that's really juvenile in her look. She's got a ton of balance and a world of future. Be interesting to see how she comes along here in the next 6 months to a year. But I think a female that's got a world of future and just maturity will only play to her favor. Big Blue Roan female, she's there. She's towards the end point here of her show career and where she's going to be, and just doing all the things right. Big, stout bone. Young lady's done a heck of a job in terms of hair growth and presentation. Great big body and a lot of tremendous amount of shape and power when you get in behind the cattle. Very, very good female. Very useful kind of a heifer as well. Good set of them. I'll go show your champion in reserve. Please, let's join together. Let's give these Shorthorn Plus exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Your grand champion Shorthorn Plus is Reese Locke from Class 744 of Spring Yearling Heifers. Your reserve grand champion comes from Class 740 of Senior Heifer Calves. That is Richard Leone. Up next within your female show, we will have our Simmental breed. We will start with Class 901. We have a single entry within this class, entry 1180 from Lear Hansen. Date of birth will be May 16th. May 16th of 2023. This is the only class and only entry for this division of Simmentals. So this will be your champion as well as first within the class of 901.
Well, a really nice single entry May heifer calf, one that's very feminine. She's smooth turn in terms of her build, level lined, a female that's got a good bone, got nice feet there as you study her at the ground. Heifer, you get in behind her's got enough dimension. Nice female. Look forward to seeing her back here in your champion drive. Congratulations to you.
Results from Class 901, first place and your division champion on that specific year is Lear Hansen with entry 1180. Up next will be Class 907. We have two entries, 1832 from Jason Diaz and entry 1480 from Cash Pratt. Jason Diaz has a date of birth of March 17th of 2022. Cash Pratt has a date of birth of March 22nd of 2022.
Well, a good pair of females in this class of Simmentals, and I make the quick pull on the young man in the cowboy hat, a female that I think is just absolutely exceptional. Structure, body, look, balance, that thing's got it going on from every respect. absolutely fit to the max and put together very, very appropriate. Just a very high-end, high-caliber kind of an individual to lead this particular class and division. The young man that ends up here in second in automatic reserve division, a nicely balanced, feminine kind of a female. You love this one's angle to her shoulder, length of the spine is really, really good. To compare her to your class winner one, we just want to open up just a shade in terms of body mass and shape and bone for that one to move up any higher. Good pair of cattle, absolutely outstanding class winner. Congratulations, Teach.
Your results from Class 907 in second place, and your reserve champion for that division is going to be Jason Diaz with entry 1832. In first place, and your division champion, that is entry 1480 of Cash Pratt. At this time, we will bring back our first and seconds, as well as our champion and division champion of reserves, to select your grand and reserve champion open Simmental females.
Well, a nice set of Simmentals back out here for your champion drive, and a couple of really good class winners. Briefly discuss them to you, and I'll grab your champions. The heifer that comes out of your first class, just really a nice pattern, kind of a female, very feminine and elegant there as you study her through her front third. I really like this one as you study her down through the base of her chest, even compared to the heifer that comes out of your next class. She probably excels the drive in just that one respect. A female that's square built and nice here as you study her from the side. You compare her to the heifer that comes right behind her. No, she's not nearly as dense in terms of her center body and her depth from her heart, mid-rib, and back into her flank. Not quite as stout in terms of her foundation either when you get right in behind her. Heifer that came there out of your second class and second division, a female that just absolutely overwhelms you in terms of quality. This one's neck set and presence is very, very good. Her body shape and dimension and depth down low is extra special. A female, when we ask this one to pull to the lead, she gets out and moves very, very well. And you get right in behind the cattle. She's as three-dimensional and as wide and as opened up as any we've seen thus far. You know, if you wanted to get picky on her, yeah, she might have just a speck of chest in her that you'd like to peel off of her, but that's getting awfully picky on a very, very good, very unique kind of a female to come out here in this particular breed drive. Young man, without a doubt, you'll be our champion of this particular group. Young man up front, you'll be our reserve. Congratulations.
Your grand champion Simmental comes from Class 907, that is Cash Pratt, and your division champion in that respective category. Your reserve champion, Simmental, comes from Class 901, that is Lear Hansen. Up next into the program will be our open Sim Genetics classes. We will have Class 942, .940 and 941 before 942. Huh. Simple numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I graduated from Briggsdale High School. Not many people know where that's at. All right, so first up, Class 940, we will have our summer yearling heifers. And then Class 941 as well, our spring yearling heifers. So these classes are going to be combined for your champion division drive. There's only 2 entries within those classes, so the classes have firsts within those. So we will have entry 393 and entry 1053 come into the ring to select your division. So from Class 940 of summer yearling heifers, we have Kaylee Simpson with entry 393. That is a first place within that class. And from Class 941 of spring yearling heifers, we have Jackson Walker with entry 1053.
Well, a really good pair of females here in your Sim Solution show. And once again, I go ahead and make the quick pull with the young man's heifer I lead off with. Boy, one you like a lot of things about. A female that's just her simple and basic construction is absolutely spot on. She's round and robust in terms of her rib cage, and yet you get in behind her, she still offers some natural width, some natural power, and yet we get off to the side, one that's still loaded with presence. She's got a lot of good to her just in terms of general basics, in terms of balance. Female that's very, very good, a very good place and an easy place for me to lead off with in this particular class. The heifer that comes here in second, you still like a lot of things about her as well. You know, we can study contemporaries for contemporary and nobody else in the ring, and just her. You know, she's a femininely designed female. She's big-bodied, she's moderate frame, she's low input. You know, she's a female that maybe just runs out of the extras in terms of look and balance, a little deeper chested, a little rounder hip, doesn't just quite have the extra look as the heifer that goes ahead of her, but still a good female there in her own right. Nice pair of females. Congratulations to both.
So once again, in the classes, you have Class 940 in first place. With that class was entry 393 of Kaylee Simpson. From Class 941, we had a first place entry 1053 from Jackson Walker. Those two classes were combined to create your division champion and reserve champion. So your champion from that division is entry 1053 from Jackson Walker, and your reserve champion goes to Kaylee Simpson. At this time, we'll go into Class 942. This is a single entry class. This entry is 1374 from Jason Diaz with a date of birth of February 24th of 2022. This is the only class and only female within this division. So this will be your champion for its respective division.
Well, once again, another good single entry, really feminine kind of a female, sleek-necked and really pretty fronted. Got a nice body shape to her, big, stout, long, level hip in her as well. Good set of running gear and a good set of feet and legs. A very nice female. Look forward to seeing her back here in your champion drive. Congratulations to you.
So first place from Class 942, entry 1374, and your division champion is Jason Diaz. At this time, we will bring back our champion and reserve champions from their respective divisions to select your grand champion and reserve champion Open Sim Genetics division winner.
Well, good set of cattle back out here in your champion percent semi lineup, and a really nice pair of class winners. The heifer that came there out of your first class that leads off your lineup, a heifer that's just so good in terms of the basics and fundamentals, structure, body, still having some power, still having some performance, and yet coupling all that together in some look and quality and balance and femininity. That female's got it absolutely going on from that respect. You know, if you wanted to get picky on her, we might could neaten up her chest just ever so slightly, maybe just sharpen up her neck, just a freckle. But once again, when you study her from her shoulder back and you've got all that extra dimension and all that extra structural integrity, a guy can give and take a little bit on that. Once again, being very, very picky on an absolutely good female. Heifer that is second here in your lineup that came out of your last division, a heifer that you like a lot in terms of length of spine and yet still having some fundamentals to her. She's great big bodied and she's got some power when you get in behind her. Maybe doesn't have the extra look and balance, if you will, the heifer that goes right ahead of her. Not quite the performance either, but once again, a good solid female there in her own right. Good set of them, without a doubt. The young man that leads off your lineup, he'll be your champion. We'll keep that other class winner together to be your reserve. Congratulations to both of you.
Your champion, Sim Genetics, is also your champion from the first division of 1053 from Jackson Walker. And your reserve champion is entry 1374 of Jason Diaz. In the show ring at this time is your class of junior heifer calves, calved February of 2023. Of Angus, we have entry 1200 from Reed Angus Ranch. Date of birth is February 26th of 2023.
Well, got a really nice single entry February heifer calf to lead off with here in your Angus show. And boy, a female that's got a lot of neat things, really attractive from the side profile. I love how high tying she is up onto the apex of her shoulder. And yet they're just so explosive and so dimensional in terms of her rib cage. Nice set of feet and legs at the ground. A very, very good female to lead off with here. Look forward to seeing her back here in your champion drive. Congratulations to you.
Your results from the first class of junior Angus heifer calves. In first place and your division champion is entry 1200 from Reed Angus Ranch. Up next into the show will be class 2, which is your late summer yearling heifers. We have 2 entries. Entry 1114 from Reed Pratt with a date of birth of July 15th of 2022. We also have entry 1062 from Pfeiffer Rosenberg with the date of birth of August 11th, 2022. These are the only 2 within this specific division, so your first and seconds will become your champion and reserve champion within their division.
Well, what a good pair of Angus females in this particular class, and they're close, and they're very, very differing in kind. I'd like the young lady's heifer to lead off with one that just strikes me very hard in terms of quality and balance. I love this one's head and neck set and the way she sets it up onto the apex of her shoulder. Very good down through her chest floor, robust bodied and sound structured. I like her length and strength she has down her spine, and from behind, a female that's just ultra good in terms of everything. All the basics and fundamentals packed together in a very, very good package. It's a very, very good female. Congratulations to you, young lady. Without a doubt, the young man's heifer here in second. She's the most dimensional when you get in behind her. She's robust in terms of her rib cage and offers more power. Female that's a little further along in terms of her condition. I'd like to freshen and lean her up just a shade. A female, when she comes at you, gets a little wide on her fronts and at times going away from me. She wants to track just a little off in terms of the way she plants those rear 2 to the ground. Young man gets this one stopped and parked and put together, and she throws her head up. That one can give you such a high quality look with such a robust body. It's a very, very good female as well. Extremely good pair of them. Congratulations to both.
Your results from the second class within your Angus show. In second place is Reed Pratt with entry 1114, and your class winner is Pfeiffer Rosenberg. Your first and seconds within that class will become your champion and reserve champions of that respective division. Up next into the program and into the ring is Class 16, which is your early junior yearling heifer calves, calved February of 2022. We have a single entry 1203 from Reed Angus Ranch. Date of birth is February 10th of 2022. This is the only female within this class and the division, so this will become your champion.
Well, once again, another single entry and a high-quality February heifer, sound, good-looking female that's got some shape and some body to her, really neat and long and level out of her hip, really high tying up front. Female that, once again, sure deserves more competition and a very high-end female. Look forward to seeing her back here in your champion drive. Congratulations to you.
Once again, your results from that last class: in first place and your division champion, entry 1203 from Reed Angus Ranch. At this time, we will bring back our division champions to select your grand and reserve champion, Open Angus females.
Well, what a good lineup of Angus cattle, and I knew coming here to the Open Show in Colorado, the Angus show would be good and tough. I knew it probably wouldn't have a lot of numbers, but I knew the cattle that would be here would be very good. The young lady's heifer that leads off your lineup, a female that just starts the day off very good and starts the lineup off good. A femininely designed, sound-structured heifer that's good-bodied, that's good in terms of her growth and performance for her age. Just an awfully solid way to lead off. You know, one is we can pair her to maybe some of our class winners and things behind her. Sure, she doesn't just overwhelm you in terms of any one thing, but she's solid, she's good, 100% all the way through. Basics and fundamentals are absolutely spot on. The heifer that come out of your second class and second division, I guess for me, a female that hit me rather hard. Immediately when this one hits the end gate, you're enamored by this one's look and balance. Her body and shape is really, really soft. You get in behind her, she's so round and so robust in terms of her rib cage, and yet we ask the female to lead. She gets out and tracks and sets them down really, really nicely. I guess for me, what truly set her apart in this particular lineup is just her angularity. So feminine in the way she's built, so attractive and so neatly balanced. And that's where I really, really like this female and her respect. Heifer that came out of your oldest division, a power female. She's big boned. She's powerful when you get right in behind her. She's really opened up. She's long spined. A female that's just really production oriented. Just a really good kind of a heifer. Once again, might run out of the bells and whistles just a shade as you compare to the cattle on either side of her. But you just talk about having the fundamentals hung up on a rack. She does it very, very well. And the heifer that was second out of that middle division, that was a tough class. Those are two very, very good cattle. They're a little different in type and kind, but as we get them back out here in your champion drive, I think without a doubt that pair of cattle fit together very well. Their quality is similar. They both have tremendous class winning and breed winning strengths. For me, without a doubt, those two cattle that came out of your middle division will be your champion in reserve. Congratulations to both of you.
Your champion Angus comes from Pfeiffer Rosenberg. It is entry 1062. Your reserve champion Angus comes from Reed Pratt with entry 1114. Up next within the program will be our balancer divisions. We have two balancers here on grounds, so we will bring both of them in the ring at this time to select your grand champion and reserve champion balancers. From class 133, we have entry 1185 from Greg Hartman. Class 145 with your cow-calf pair, that is entry 1191 from Greg Hartman. Both of these entries are first within their classes and their respective divisions, so we will bring them in to select your champion and reserve champion.
Got a nice single entry here to start off with in your Gelby show, and a heifer that's awfully nice. Sound structured, got a nice look from the side, big body, kind of an individual. She's wanting to fight the halter a little to get back here to her mother, but once again, a female that's awfully good in her own respect. Look forward to seeing this pair together here.
So once again, the results from your Class 133 of junior heifer calves within your balancer show first place and your division champion is entry 1185 from Greg Hartman. We will now pair the cow with that calf from that first class to create Class 145. We have the single entry 1191 from Greg Hartman.
So as we got your pair back out here for your this class and division, a nice pair of females, and you can tell the female's giving a lot to that calf. Good uddered, kind of a cow that's got a very, very good, strong heifer calf on her. The cow herself is long-bodied. She's very, very feminine in her design, and we can see that portrayed here into your calf as well. A very, very nice pair. Congratulations. As we come to a conclusion here in the show, and we've got your single entry or we've got your pair, without a doubt, we'll leave that pair together. They'll be your champion here in your Gelby show. Congratulations to both.
Your grand champion within your balancer will be the cow-calf pair, entry 1191. Therefore, your reserve will become entry 1185 with that single entry from Greg Hartman in our junior heifer class. Up next into the program will be the Hereford portion of our female show. We will now have Class 201, which is our spring heifer calves within our Hereford show. These animals have been calved after March 1st. Within Class 201, we have two entries, 1126 from Cashley Chambers with a date of birth of March 4th of 2023, as well as entry 1150 from Maddie Chambers. Date of birth is March 5th of 2023. These are the only two entries and the only class within this division of Herefords, so these will be your champion and reserve champions within their respective Hereford divisions.
Nice pair of Hereford females back out here in that, to lead off with here in this particular breed. Very, very good. They're a little differing in type and kind, but without a doubt, both very good, very high quality individuals. Go ahead and use the young lady's light tinted heifer to lead off with, one that's got some extra look and quality from the side. Extremely high tying as you study her there through the front third of her skeleton, level spine, really neat and attractive out of her hip. Got a nice rib cage in her as well. Time and maturity is only going to play to these females' favor. Good heifer to lead off with. Heifer that reads a little more mature, a little quicker in terms of her patterns. The heifer that ends up in second, she's a little more muscular, a little wider in terms of her general construction. But for me, a female that I just want to see just a shot more to her, a bit more length of body. And I'd like to maybe change the way she hooks together there in her forerib and up into the backside of her shoulder for that one to move up any higher. Good pair of heifers. Congratulations to both.
Your results from Class 201 of Herefords in second place and your division reserve goes to entry 1150 from Maddie Chambers. In first place and your champion for the division, entry 1126 from Cashley Chambers. At this time, we will now bring in Class 202 of Junior Heifer Calves, calved January 1st through February 29th. We will have 2 entries. We will have entries 1125 from Cashley Chambers with the date of birth of February 2nd of 2023. We'll also have entry 1151 from Maddie Chambers with a date of birth of February 4th of 2023.
Good pair of heifers, and I go ahead and make the quick pull and the quick placing on the young lady. We lead off with a female that just wins this particular class very, very handedly for me. Long-necked and square-built, very sound, got a nice rib cage in her, good as you study her down her spine and out of her hip. She's green in her kind, and maturity and time will only play to her future, but I think that's a good female to lead off with in this particular class. Darker red heifer ends up in second, a little smaller framed, a little frailer in terms of her general build. You like her length of body. She's long-fronted, kind of a female, and very feminine in terms of her look. Just want to open her up and give her just a shot more to her for that one to move up any higher. Very nice pair of females and a very good class winner. Congratulations to each.
Your results from Class 202 of Junior Heifer Calves. In second place is entry 1151 from Maddie Chambers. And in first place, entry 1125 from Cashley Chambers. In the ring at this time is now Class 216, which we have the entry 1128 from Lobato Cattle Company. We have a date of birth of February 26th of 2022.
Well, a nice single entry February heifer, and one that sure deserves more competition. Really a long-bodied, really growth-oriented kind of a female, real high-performing kind of a heifer, long-bodied and long spine, really long-fronted kind of a heifer. You know, if you want to get picky on her, you know, you might say for her age and her weight and how long she is, like to see just a little bit more rib cage in her. But once again, everything fits together, nicely balanced, sound structured, good heifer here to be a single entry. Look forward to seeing her back here in your drive. Congratulations to you.
Your results from Class 216, and that division itself becomes your champion. That is entry 1128 from Lobato Cattle Company. Also from Class 202, your first and seconds become your champion and reserve champion Junior Hereford Heifer Calves. Now coming into the ring will be Class 218. We have 3 total entries within this class. We have entry 1124 from Cashley Chambers. We have entry 1665 from Jason Diaz. And we have entry 1127 from Lobato Cattle Company.
Well, a good class of heifers and a clear-cut winner for me. The young lady's loud-marked heifer, wide-feathered heifer that leads off, I think does so rather handedly. A big-bodied, really robust kind of a female. She's ultrasound when we ask this one to get out and move, and we get her stopped and parked and put together. She's got a neat and attractive look from the side, puts her neck way high up onto the apex of her shoulder. Yet when we get in behind the cattle, compared to this particular trio, she's still my source of power. And when we view these cattle at the ground, she is the most robust and largest in terms of her bone and circumference of foot. There as she meets the ground, a very good female to lead off with. You know, if you wanted to get picky on her, you might could neaten her up right through her throat latch and right down at the base of her chest ever so slightly. But once again, getting very, very picky on a high-end female in this particular class. There's some differences and trade-offs here in 2 and 3, and if you'd like to swap those cattle, I sure wouldn't argue with you. I'd go ahead and use the extra look and balance and dimension of the heifer that ends up here in second. A little longer spine kind of female that's a bit more opened up when you get right in behind the cattle. Really shapely and really square there as you study her from her blades back. If you want to get picky on her and compare her to your class winner, one you could soften right from her heart back into her flank ever so slightly to make that one just a shade more production-oriented looking, but once again, a good female there in her own right. Heifer that ends up here in third, a female, so we just study her by herself and no contemporaries around. A moderate framed, low input kind of a female. Just runs out of the extras. Not quite as neat and attractive, not quite as neatly balanced as the two that go ahead of her. Nice set of heifers, very good one there on the top end. Congratulations to both.
Your results from Class 218. In third place, entry 1665 from Jason Diaz. In second place, and your division reserve champion is entry 1127 from Lobato Cattle Company. In first place, and your division champion, entry 1124 from Cashley Chambers. At this time, we will bring back our division champions and reserve champions to select your grand and reserve champion Herefords. Your first division champion will be entry 1126 from Cashley Chambers. Your second division champion will be entry 1125 from Cashley Chambers. Your third division champion will be entry 1128 from Lobato Cattle Company. And your fourth division champion will be entry 1124 from Cashley Chambers.
Well, a good lineup out here for your champion drive, and without a doubt the deepest breed and the most numbers we've had so far. So if you would, please, let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause on a good set of females. Briefly run through them just real quick, and I'll grab you guys some champions. A heifer that came out of your first class, really neat and attractive. Got a great look from the side, an awesome set of running gears. You study her at the ground. Good bodied, a female that's got a great look from the side. Just a really nice way to lead off with here in this particular breed. Heifer that came out of your second class kind of follows that same type and that same theme. A heifer with a tremendous look from the side, real high tine in the way she sets her neck up onto the apex of her shoulder. I love this one's body shape and dimension. I like her extra width and substance when you get right in behind her as well. She's a little green, and you know that probably works a little to her disadvantage in this particular lineup. She wants to get just a little peaked right behind her blades and could transition maybe just a shot better right up into her forehead. But once again, good female there in her own right. really a long-bodied, high-performing kind of a heifer comes out of your next division. One you like, this one's just general length of spine. This one's general performance is very, very good. Talked about her in class. I'd like to add a little extra right in the center part of her body as we study the calf ahead of her and the big bread right behind her. Just want to add that extra center body shape to make her just a bit more ideal for me. But once again, it's a nice heifer there in her own right, loaded with performance, a lot of growth in her as well. Heifer that came out of your last class, one that hit me really hard in that particular group, in that particular setting, so soft in terms of her structure, so soft in terms of her rib cage as well, and yet we get her parked and put together. She's got a really neat and attractive look here as you view her from the side. Very, very good female there in her own right. To our respective seconds and our respective reserves, a tremendous amount of quality in each of those as well. I've got a pair of them in mind, and I'll show them to you. If you would, please, one more time. Let's give these Hereford exhibitors a nice round of applause, and I'll grab your champions.
Your grand champion Hereford is entry 1124 from Cashley Chambers. At this time, we will roll in the reserve champion from that division for consideration for your reserve grand champion Hereford. That is entry 1127 from Lobato Cattle Company. Your reserve grand champion Hereford is entry 1127 from Lobato Cattle Company. Up next into the program will be our open Main Anjou show. We will have a single entry within this class. We have class 407. Within your Main Anjou show, we have a single entry within the entire breed category. We have entry 1206 from Jackson Walker with Drit Kissentel. This is date of birth May 4th of 2022.
Got a single entry main heifer, and we've said it before in some classes, divisions and breeds, one that sure deserves more competition, and no doubt this one does. A high-end female that's got a good look. She's nicely balanced. She's big boned. She's powerful when you get in behind her. Just an awfully, awfully good female here to represent this breed. Young man, congratulations to you here on your single entry.
Results from Class 407 and first place entry 1206 from Jackson Walker. The only animal within the breed, so therefore becomes your grand champion, Main Ann. At this time, we will move on to the open maintainer breed category. We have two entries within this breed. We have Class 450. We have entry 1192 from Joey Patton. That is a first place within that class and also the division, so that becomes your division champion. Up next would be Class 449. We have entry 1129 from Lobato Cattle Company. Again, single entry class there, so that becomes a division winner. So at this time in the ring is your grand and reserve champion selection for your open maintainer show.
Well, a nice pair of Manon you females back out here for your champion drive, and both class winners, both division winners here you've got before you, and bringing them back out here for your champion drive is where we're sitting. And a pair of females that are just really differing in kind. The January heifer we lead off your lineup with, really long-bodied, a female that's probably, I guess for me, on the upper end of where she needs to be as far as terms of frame size and weight per day of age. In that respect, female that you really like. This one's length of body, though, just in terms of general performance, great big bone, great big footed. Reads to me a little harder in her rib cage maybe than ideal for me. I'd like to soften her up and give her just a shot more right in the center part of her body. I guess for me, though, what truly, if I get picky on this one, I just like to change this one's femininity. The shape to her skull, her neck, shoulder, and right down at the base of her chest. Give her just a shot more feminine look there if you view her up front. The Baldy heifer that comes next, the April heifer, the younger one of this particular pair, one that you really like, this one's femininity. She's the opposite of the heifer we lead off with, a little flatter in terms of her kind, but just really high quality in terms of her look. I like this one's extra look. Her sharpness as you study her through her shoulder and the way she hooks up into her rib is very, very good. We get this heifer out on the lead, and she's sound and mobile as we pull her there on the halter. You get in behind her. Sure, you'd like to open her up just a shade in terms of just general width and just general power, but once again, a female that you really like her in terms of her look and balance and quality. Nice pair of females, very, very contrasting in their kind. I'll take one more look here, and I'll grab you guys your champions. Congratulations to both.
Your grand champion maintainer comes from class 449. That is entry 1129 from Lobato Cattle Company. Your reserve grand champion is entry 1192 from Joey Patton. At this time, we will move on to the OPB category. We have a single entry within this specific division of our show. We have entry 1193 from Landrick Hansen. Date of birth is April 26th of 2022. Attention beef exhibitors, attention female beef exhibitors. We will be taking a 10-minute break between our Supreme Champion and the class that is currently in the ring at this time. So again, a 10-minute break from now until the Supreme Drive.
Well, a really nice way to wrap up the show today here in your last breed and your last class and division and drive. A good female to finish off with. Sound structured, sharp built, kind of a heifer that's feminine fronted. I like this one's body shape. Her levelness of lines and out of her hip is very good. Got a beautiful look here from the side. Heifer, I wish she had more competition to compete and play against, because I think that's a very solid, very good heifer that comes out of this particular breed. Young man, congratulations to you.
The results from Class 507. In first place is Landrick Hansen with entry 1193. That becomes your division champion and your grand champion of your OPB category. We will be taking a 10-minute break to let all of our champion and reserve champions, or actually, just our champions, all of our champions to gather themselves to come back for your Supreme Champion selection. So again, a 10-minute break for all of our champions to return for your Supreme Champion selections. Attention breeding cattle exhibitors, because we are moving everything up in our schedule. As soon as our Supreme cattle has been selected, you will be able to be released from the grounds. So again, once our Supreme champion has been selected, you are released. So give us another 8 minutes or so. We will have that Supreme selection done here in the show ring, and you guys will be good to go from there. If we could have all of our champions return to the holding ring at this time, we will get underway with our Supreme Champion selection for our female show. So again, if we could have all of our champions return to the holding ring, we will get started with our Supreme Champion cattle selection. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get picked back up where we were left off. We're going to start our Supreme Champion cattle selection. At this time, we will bring in all of our champions. Your champion Shorthorn is entry 1340 from Paige Parker. Your champion Shorthorn Plus is entry 1024 from Reese Locke. Your champion Semitol is entry 1480 from Cash Pratt. Your champion Sim Genetics is entry 1053 from Jackson Walker. Your champion Angus is entry 1062 from Pfeiffer Rosenberg. Your champion Balancer is the cow-calf pair entry 1191 from Greg Hartman. Your champion Hereford is entry 1124 from Cashley Chambers. Your champion Main Ann is entry 1206 from Jackson Walker. Your champion Maintainer is entry 1129 from Lobato Cattle Company. And your champion OPB is entry 1193 from Landrick Hansen. This is your champions in consideration for your Supreme Champion Cattle Selection. Once again, our judge for today's contest is none other than Mr. Jeff Jackson. He's from Walnut Springs, Texas. He is a graduate of Tarleton State University with a bachelor's and master's degree in ruminant nutrition. Jeff, along with his wife Lauren and daughters Jalen and Adeline, run a 600-head cow-calf operation. They're primarily focusing on the production of show cattle and seed stock bulls. Jeff has judged in almost every single state within the United States, as well as many junior nationals and state and national fairs all across the United States. We appreciate Mr. Jeff Jackson judging today's female show.
Well, what a good set of them back out here for your champion drive. If you would, please, let's begin with a nice round of applause on just an outstanding set of cattle, and then we'll grab your champions. Once again, not a lot, maybe in numbers in some of these particular breeds, even some single entries in a few places here and there. But once again, I think the cattle we surfaced up with, your champions and your respective reserves, were very, very good. I'm very happy with your lineup. There's a good set of them from front to rear, all the way when we began with your Shorthorn and finished up here with your main and main influence and AOB cattle. Just an outstanding set and very, very good cattle all the way in between. They only let me pick one, and I wish they'd let me pick 2 or 3 or 4. I've got 3 or 4 of them in mind that I think a guy could sure pick and go with and say, man, that's the one that I want to hang my hat on, and that's the one that I want to stand behind the backdrop, and the one that I want to use to win this particular show. Like I said, there's 3, maybe even 4 of them that a guy could sure grab a hold of and just pick them and use them and go with them and say, this is the one that I like, and this is the one that I think is the best in this particular group. I won't go through and talk each one individually. We talked them in depth in class, and then again there in each of them's respective drives. So I'll hang up the mic and I'll grab you guys some champions. If you would, please, there is a whole host of people that sit up here in the office, my ring help that's been right here. If you guys would, let's please give them a nice round of applause on an outstanding job they've done today. My announcers, getting them in and getting them out in such a very efficient manner. Guys, great set of cattle, great set of people here in Colorado. It's always a good state. Without a doubt, some of the best cattle in the country come from this particular region and this particular state. And so my hat's off to each of you exhibitors, each of you ranches and cattle groups that have come today and brought these cattle before me to sort through. My compliments and my hat's off to you. Great set of them. Guys, I'll go show you your champion. If you would, please, one more time, do me the indulgence. Let's give these people a nice round of applause for an outstanding job.
Your supreme champion is your champion Angus. That is entry 1062 from Pfeiffer Rosenberg with DT Lucy. Special thanks to all of our exhibitors and champions, as well as our judge, for making today's show possible. We appreciate the participation, and congratulations to all of our exhibitors.